Hello. Oh, on this very, very chilly morning. 3 degrees. When will I see you again? Yeah, just got out of the car. Car was lovely and warm, but it tells me the outside temperature is 3 degrees. I'm bloody freezing. But anyway, nobody forced us out, did they? So, last month I made a video. I was in a place called Steventon in Oxfordshire, and I made a video there, and I forgot to include a couple of little bits. Not that it's overly important, but I thought I'd just say them now, really. Why not? Look at this little boy, look. Anyway, so, for those of you who watched the video, I was talking a lot about the causeway. So the causeway is a very old path, a 13th century path. It's about 6 to 8 foot off of like the road, and in various parts there's either a ditch either side or both sides, because it's a very wet sort of little place, or was. So what happened many years ago, my old mum, bless her, went walking up there, and it was evening time, and she slipped over on the causeway on one of the pebbles, and unfortunately she was walking on the edge and she fell down into the little stream or ditch probably, and she hurt her knee and couldn't stand back up, and every time she tried she was sopping wet and muddy and dirty and bleeding a little bit from her knee. And bless her, she remained there for some time. She reckons it was about an hour. It's a long time, really. And she was calling out every now and then and really trying to listen. She was quite deaf, my mum, as well. But then she saw a light, and she thought it was somebody walking a dog. So she called out again, help me, help me, help me. Anyway, this light stopped, and this little boy said, where are you? He said, I can't see you. And she said, I'm in the ditch, I fell off the causeway. And he said, oh, I'm on my bike. So he wasn't a dog walker, he said, I'm on my bike. Do you want me to phone the police? And she said, no. She said, what you could do is go round and tell my husband that I've fallen. That would be a great help. So he asked for the address, and she said, hiya. Good girl. Good girl. Right, let's go this way. Come on. She told him off. That was good, little dog. Yeah, so she said, look, here's the address. Just say I've fallen in this ditch, and maybe you could come back with him or something. Anyway, off he went, little boy, to my mum's bungalow. Knocked on the door, knocked again and again and again, because he was bloody deaf as well. So he came all the way back. Bearing in mind it was really cold, and you know, bless his little heart, and he said there's no answer, and my mum didn't really know what to do, and he said, I'll call the police. I'll go down the phone box. This was years ago, so there was no come here, come on, no mobiles or anything, mobile phones, and that's what he did. So the police turned up, and the little boy was there with his light on the bike, flagging down the police. And the police had phoned an ambulance as well, because she was quite elderly and she'd hurt herself, you know. And how lovely of that little boy to stay with her. He couldn't see her from where he was, but he stayed with her and she could hear his voice and he could hear hers, obviously, so that was lovely. But bless him, so that was lovely. Anyway, all ended well. She had a couple of stitches in her knee and she bumped her head, I think, or her face, I think it was. But you know, really she was fine, so that's good. So thank you to that little boy. He'd be a grown man by now, but he probably remembers it. The other little story I was going to tell you, you know that what we call the waterfall. There was an old mill there many years ago. The mill was ancient, and it wasn't there when we lived there, even though we're ancient now. So I don't know when it was there, but obviously the waterfall remains the same. Anyway, we had a family who lived not too many doors away. My second mum, and her name is Sheila. And anyway, what had happened, you know, we kind of moved to the village, I think, around about the same time, and my mum and Sheila got chatting, and Bode, stop licking. And yeah, they become best of friends. And I'll just put them on a lead. I think I will. Let's go and look over the water. Bode, you come this way with me. Come this way. And she had 5 kids, and my mum had 5 kids, so something in common, I suppose. And one of the children was a girl called Coralie. Lovely name, Coralie. And she had blonde hair, but it was blonde spirals, really. And anyway, she'd fallen in as a toddler, fallen into the bloody stream. Obviously not the waterfall bit, but the stream. And my brother Kevin was there. And of course, we're all toddlers, all around the same age, but he's about 2 years older. So Coralie would have been maybe 3, 4, and he would have been 5 or 6. And somebody ran and got my mum, and they said, Coralie's dead in the water. So my mum ran, picked Coralie up, and she was stuck on something, but she was fine. And my brother Kevin was stood there, and she said, how long have you been here? And he said, you know, all the time. And she said, why didn't you come and get me? And he said, because her hair looks so lovely. You know what toddlers are like. Apparently he enjoyed seeing her hair unwrinkling in the water, and it had shrimps in and stuff like that, and he quite liked that. So she had this really intense curly hair that was all starting to show its full length, and he was loving it. So rather than saving her life, anyway, whatever. And finally, the third thing that happened there, above the waterfall there's a meadow, and we used to go up there and play. And this was my brother Kevin. He fell in, and the water there, it rushes, as you saw, and he couldn't get out because he was 4, 5, 6. But he managed, well, he didn't manage anything. A bramble managed to grab. He was wearing a jumper. My mum used to do a lot, I think all mums did knitting back in the day, and we was all in various knitted jumpers, and she knitted obviously a jumper for Kevin, probably knitted it for one of my other brothers, and it was handed down, who knows. And that saved his life, because it got hooked all around his neck and his chest and literally held him up out of the water, but he couldn't move anywhere. So a bramble saved him. We got into a few bloody scrapes, really, but it was all good fun. And talking about my mum, these are all going to be daffodils, look. So they're well on the way. They're coming up in some places I've seen, but another week, possibly 2 weeks, and they'll have their comical heads, as I call them. So there you go. So yeah, just a few little few snippets about what we used to get up to, really. It was all silliness and fun, really. Okay, I'll catch you in a bit. Take care and be well.